And welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 426. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one and only Mr. Matt P. Video. Matt, how are you?
Hello, hello, hello. One day I
Boo.
will come 2 weeks in a row to this podcast, but it won't be anytime soon.
I was
So,
gonna say you're a busy
You
boy.
li-
It's okay.
Matt looks tired. He
oh,
does.
don't say that.
You
Wow.
do.
I think you look
No.
great, Matt. Don't listen to these
No,
guys.
Thanks,
I
Dan.
can tell that you've had a busy week. I
It's
wouldn't say
been a-
you
it's
look
been a-
tired,
it's been a
but
week.
yeah, I can
Been a
tell
week.
you've had a busy week. I can tell. You
Matt, you
didn't
look
come
like
in
shit.
with your. He didn't come in with his plucky self, all right? He didn't come in
Yeah.
with his plucky,
Yeah.
plucky self.
Aw.
Which
That's a better
no.
way to put it.
It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. I just know that you're tired.
Sure.
The
And
other, wait, let me get the other two in real quickly.
fine.
And of course, joining us one and only two fresh Kresh. Hello, how are you? Good.
doing
And
good.
of course, the return of the Mac. He's been at WASDA. We'll talk about that soon. It's Mr. D-Spawn. How are you, D-Spawn?
Don't know how I feel about being called the Mac, but I'll take it. I'm good,
Return
man. I'm
of
good.
the Mac. Once
Here I
again,
am.
return of the Mac. We're gonna get DMCA. Sorry, Matt. Talk to us. You're tired.
Yeah, no, it's been a really, really busy couple of weeks. It's one of those things where I've been working a lot of late nights and stuff. But if you told me that this is what I'd be stressed out about when I was like 12, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, what do you mean? You're just covering cool games and talking to cool people and trying to organize really, really cool shit. So yeah, can't
You know
complain.
what?
But will.
You nailed, like, I had an interesting week as well, and yeah, I had that realization. I was in the shower, have shower thoughts, and I was like, man, I'm stressed because people are annoyed at the way I'm role playing in a video game in which I get paid to play every week. My life isn't that hard, is it? Let's be honest. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Let's be honest.
I think we'll all go through that. I mean, like, I was the same thing. I was like, man, I've had to do so much traveling this weekend, but I got to play a ton of cool games early while I was doing it. Meet a load of cool people. Kresh, what are you thankful for? It's not Thanksgiving, but
What am I thankful for?
yeah, what's your shower thought thankful?
Oh, I didn't prepare anything for this segment. I apologize.
Kresh is not thankful for shit. He doesn't even like you guys.
get
If
it.
you didn't know, this is our weekly Xbox podcast. My Xbox and Me. You can get it live over on youtube.com/myxboxandme and all podcast services. If you want to support the show early, patreon.com/mcfixer. Shout out to our Patreon producer this week, Mr. Aaron God. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a hell of a week. Like we say, you've got Matt who's had a hell of a week. You've got D-Spawn who's been at WASD. I've been at the Crew Motorfest event and a Mortal Kombat event. And then there's Kresh, which is amazing.
Just me, yeah.
There's
Just
Kresh.
playing Mortal Kombat and breaking
Do you know-
controllers.
Do you know what's crazy though? Kresh,
Yeah.
maybe it's different because I don't know how it works. I'm in London, so I'm in the epic
Yeah.
center of where games is, right? Matt's not too far away. D-Spawn can get there as well. I'm not sure how New York works. I don't know if there is like a big gaming world out there for we've not
So-
pushed you. I've never reached out to US press and be like, I've got this guy. He wants to come to the
So-
event.
The problem with New York, as far as I'm aware, is not all gaming events happen in New York, as far as I'm aware. I see
I
a
get what
lot
you
of them
mean.
happening in like LA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, as much as I would have sent myself, but I know the Payday event was in New York. And realistic, if I would have known that,
yeah.
the problem is, if I would have known that, I would have been like, hey guys, send me so I can go meet Kresh.
Yeah.
Realistically, what I should have said was, hey guys,
Kresh.
I've got my friend Kresh here who's from New York.
Yeah.
Why don't you send him? But yeah, we need to work on getting you some stuff, Kresh. Would you go? I would pay so much good money to watch you vlog yourself at an event. It's
Yeah,
just
that'd
not
be-
you at all.
That wouldn't be great. I would not pay.
I'd pay good
That'd
money
be
to see that.
laughs. It'd be
Oh,
laughs.
okay, 'cause-
Oh, yeah.
Pause camera. Hey guys, I'm here. Yeah, okay. Editor, make that good.
Yeah. It would be all editor magic. It'd
Oh,
be all
editor.
despawn. All despawn.
I mean, I'm
Exactly.
good. I don't know if I'm making Kresh look good on vlogs good, but
nobody is.
Topic of the show this week, boys. We've got a load of games to go through, really. Mortal Kombat 1 and Lies of P are, well, out in early access for Mortal Kombat, and reviewers and influencers have early access for Lies of P right now. And yeah, we'll start with that. Kresh, we'll start with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
We played against each other, we did like an hour stream over on the My Xbox and Me YouTube channel. We said we would. We did a best of 5, and of course,
First to 5.
first to 5, sorry, and of course I lost. Not as badly as I thought I would, though. If
Sorry,
we're
I'm
being
No.
honest.
I'm just
No.
celebrating my cheesy garlic bread. Just
Yeah.
I do owe Despawn cheesy garlic bread, and I owe
Mhm.
Kresh a pizza, which I'm not sure when we're going to cash it in. Probably Game Awards or something like that, I guess. Would
I'll
probably be
buy
like the best.
maybe.
That'd probably be the best time to do it, right? Can you order pizza to your house? Are you like out in the sticks? You get deliveries around there?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I was hoping not. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
Kresh-
Oh, it's
Kresh
okay. I
lives-
could walk to the pizza spot. If that's the case. You can just Venmo me. PayPal.
No,
Kresh
no,
lives down
no.
the road from a good Domino's anyway, so no problem at all.
Imagine it had to be Domino's. That'd be hilarious.
Yo, pizza's pizza, bro.
As the
If I'm not
person who
paying
is-
for it,
Yeah, as the person who's
Yeah.
buying the pizza, you get to pick which one it is, I think, Fix.
No, no
that's
way.
how it works.
I couldn't do that
no,
to
no, I
him.
think
I
that's
couldn't do
fair.
that to
I
him.
think
No,
that's fair.
no, because I wouldn't even know you're like. There's probably like very good local spots. I wouldn't want you to have to eat bad pizza. That's it's not meant to be a punishment for you
Look,
winning.
wait,
It's
wait,
meant to
wait.
be a
Wait.
good thing.
I just want to clear this up. All free pizza is good pizza.
I was gonna say
If I
I've
have
never
to
heard of
pay
bad
That's
for
not
pizza.
true.
It's not valid.
You've never been in London. That's not true. Sorry,
Wait,
that's not
there's some
true.
free
That's
pizza
not
here
true.
that's
Some
not
pizza's
worth
just
it.
not. Just don't eat it. No, please don't. Some of these
Look,
places
if I
are
can
terrible.
eat Domino's,
Yeah, but Domino's is good here. It's not, but it's pizza.
so
Anyway. Look, anyway, we're getting distracted here. Mortal Kombat 1. What did you think?
Yes. It's good. It's good. It's solid. Visually, I think right off the bat, most impressive thing about it, how beautiful the game looks.
Yeah.
You play it, the story mode. How deep did you get into the story?
I'm chapter 10, so I'm 5 chapters away. I've almost completed it.
Yeah, you're 4 chapters ahead of me. Or
Yeah.
ahead of me. Some of the cinematics are really good. The choreography is really good. The writing's pretty solid most of the time. There's a few times where it's like, oh, that was a little bit corny or felt a little bit out of place. But thinking back on it, I know in the moment I felt like that. Thinking back on it, it's not something that like stuck in my head because I'm trying to pull up one of the memories now, and I'm like, I can't remember any of the specific moments.
So yeah, again, I'm 10 chapters in. So probably played about 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I'm absolutely loving the game. I agree with you on the corniness, but it's written like that on purpose.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be corny. Johnny Cage's all of his lines, like the movie lines he comes out with all the time, they are meant to be corny, and that's what
Those-
makes me laugh.
Those aren't the moments that are cool.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
What
there's
do you think then?
there's
Like,
one
without
moment with
spoilers.
the chick who's trying to purify herself.
Yeah.
She says something along the lines like, "My sword is
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
enchanted"
know.
or whatever, and it just feels out of place. And there's a couple of moments like that where there's a line that just you could have left silence there, and I think it would have flowed better than trying to force a line there a couple of times. But then again, Mortal Kombat's always had that like level of corny and campiness to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's out of place for the franchise. It's the same thing I've said. I said it whenever I talked about MK11 and MK10 story mode, is that it feels like an action flick.
Yes.
Like a Fast and Furious action flick, where if you really enjoy those type of things, you're gonna rock with it. If you don't, it's just gonna not be great for you. I do think this is a better attempt at that, or not even attempt, because I think they're successful at it. It is a better like attempt at that sort of story in MK1 as opposed to the past couple of iterations they've done.
I absolutely love it. Like again, I've spoken on the podcast about how I've wanted to get into Injustice 1, 2, never did. What else did they do? The old Mortal Kombat games that I always were like, oh, the story looks really interesting. Just never got around to actually playing them. I am so happy that I've done this. See, it's a perfect reset on the series for someone new like myself to come in where like I know some of these characters. So when they pop up, I'm like, oh, it's you. And again, I've got my PS1 brain on as well. So I'm seeing these characters that they look how I thought they would look back then, which I'm like, holy shit, this. And I think the biggest compliment I can pay to the game is it's so simple to pick up and play. When I think of fighting games, I get very stressed. And this was the first game that I was like, you know what? I actually want to know what the hell I'm doing. Instead of just bashing buttons and not understanding what I'm doing, which is pretty much what I did in the fight against Kresh. I'm actually going to spend I spent about half an hour maybe in the training, just learning the basic mechanics of what certain moves do. I'm playing through the story mode, pushing start, checking through move sets on different characters, which again, I'm not punished for doing that. It's very easy to just do and pick up. I don't feel stupid for doing it either, which is really cool. And yeah, I now understand the basic mechanics of how to play Mortal Kombat 1, which is fantastic, right? When I'm pulling off moves, it isn't, oh, how did I do that? No, I actually meant to do that, which is always a nice feeling when you pull off something that you're trying to do. The story itself, I think, is fantastic. I really, really do. I think it's a great reset, a great starting point for anyone lapsed to the series. I think it's a great starting point. And my brother-in-law, who I game share with my brother-in-law on Xbox, I went around his the other day, and he was playing it, and his fiance. We were talking about games, and his fiance was like, "Oh yeah, I've been watching him play it. Like, oh my god, I'm so shocked at how amazing this looks." It's like we sit down, we watch it like a film. Then he gets into his gameplay, and she doesn't pay attention. Then that's over, and then she looks back at the screen, and it's back to story. It's like, and I think that's a great compliment, right? We talk about driving games are very much like that. They pick up a casual audience of like people that are like pretty. And Mortal Kombat it could be one of the prettiest games I've played this generation, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, especially like when you're looking at facial animations and stuff like that. They're all like very,
Absolutely.
very solid in the game.
It doesn't have the dead eyes, and that's always that's the number one thing I go to is there a character behind those eyes? And it's like, yes, in Mortal Kombat 1 there is. There's a deep, meaningful character that is, in my opinion, quite well written. I feel like all the characters so far that I've come up against in 10 chapters, I've been like, oh, I like this dynamic.
Yeah.
This dynamic makes sense. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers at all. But definitely, if you have the means to play this game, again, it's hard. I don't want to tell someone, again, by the way, mine and Kresh's copies were given to us by WB Games. So thank you, WB, for providing us with copies. I don't know if I want to tell someone to go out and buy this just for the campaign. I think it's worth it, but it depends on what you think is worth. You're looking at about 6 to 7 hours of gameplay, I think, from the campaign.
If you enjoy the gameplay and you want to play a fighting game and not have to do it online, they also do have the invasion mode as well, which resets every season. So they will be cycling through them. So there will be new content from that coming in as well, if that is something you're into. And there's also the towers where you beat them with characters and you get sort of like your typical fighting game arcade mode ending for the characters as well. So there is content there. This game doesn't have the crypt, which has been in the past couple of Mortal Kombats, which feels kind of lacking in this game, but I haven't really gotten too deep into the invasion mode to see how much that makes up for it. But there's definitely for people who enjoy playing fighting games but not playing them online, there definitely is enough here for you to maybe look at it. I would definitely watch some reviews, or watch some gameplay in general and see if it's something that you'd really want to mess with. But
the story alone is
goes,
worth it, though. I think it's worth it.
I was gonna say the campaign, as far as fighting games go, is probably the best like narrative campaign of fighting games had, easily, hands down, which has been the case with Mortal Kombat or NetherRealm games in general for a minute now. So that's nothing new to them.
Agreed. Yes, Matt.
Do you see yourself then going back to this? Like, I'm assuming once you're finished with the story, you're probably going to be finished with the game. Do you see yourself going back to it like throughout the roadmap as they release more content, as they release maybe new characters, hopefully new story?
I don't know if they do new stories. Is that something they've never done?
They did it for 11. They had a whole new story for it.
If there's new story, I'm there. I'll say it from this perspective because it's hard for us again because we're about to talk about the plethora of games that we're playing and a bunch of stuff that's just been announced, right? So it's hard for me to sit here and say, yes, I'm gonna go back. If Kresh ever messages me and says, I want to beat you up in Mortal Kombat 1, I will jump in and play. Because again, now especially, I feel like I've learned the basics enough to go, oh, I'm never gonna forget that. I can play and have an enjoyable time against Kresh now. I've never had this. I didn't have it in Marvel vs. Capcom. I've not had it in Killer Instinct. The story is long enough, and I've taught myself enough by playing all these different characters. I know the characters I definitely don't want to play, and now I know the characters I definitely do want to play.
Who's favorite character?
Who's my character?
So far? Because when we were doing our first to 5, it was Liu Kang.
It's not Liu Kang anymore.
Okay.
No, I Sub-Zero plan he's starting in the story was very enjoyable. Same with Scorpio as well. Scorpio, is that right?
Scorpion.
Scorpion. Sorry, Scorpion. And also, and you'll know this, Reptile. Reptile is nuts.
Yeah, if you're gonna play with
Nuts.
me, you're not playing Reptile. It's my character.
Reptile is nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
He's really fun. The
yeah.
changes they've also made to his character are phenomenal. Like he's
Yeah.
such a better character than he used to be. Both him and Baraka are like in the campaign are significantly better than I would say they've ever been in Mortal Kombat history.
Baraka's gameplay is buttery smooth.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. Again, all these characters you play during the story, and it's like, I will use you more. I will use you more. Okay, I'm not using you. Raiden, I don't fuck with Raiden at all. Every time I had to use Raiden, I'm like, I do not like it, especially at the start of the game. Again, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
That beginning part is just like,
yeah.
Oh, this
There's
is
a couple
so
of
frustrating.
characters at the beginning part that are frustrating.
Yeah, but makes perfect story sense.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
nice. Which is nice for it to make sense.
How are you finding it, like difficulty wise?
Fine. I don't think I'm playing on medium. I believe I've not lost a fight yet. I've lost a round,
Sure.
but I've not lost an entire fight yet.
Okay.
Once on medium. Again, like I said, I did spend 30 to 45 minutes in the training. before I went in, just to. I was trying to, again, because you've got the enhancement moves, which is your bar at the bottom, which I never understood when I was fighting Kresh, of how to do any of that. So I was learning how to. This sounds like the stupidest thing ever, but you'll understand if you play the game. Learning to push a B, A, or an X at the same time as right trigger, and getting that timing correctly is like so important. But I wasn't understanding that while playing with Kresh. And then as soon as I got into training and I'm doing it, I'm still missing the timing. And then when I pull it off, seeing the character do the enhanced fireball or any of these other movesets, and I'm like, oh, did it? And like getting so excited every time I pull it off. I'm like, okay, now I understand. Kresh knows. Kresh knows if he fights me again, he's in trouble. He knows if he fights me again, he's in trouble.
I don't think so.
I've learned how to block not fatalities. What are they called? The when you get low health.
Fatal blows.
They were called
fatal blows. Thank you. Fatal blows. Yeah, the fatal blows. I've learned how to block those now. And again, it's a timing game, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's all down to timing. Learning to block is like so important.
So you're saying there's gonna be another best of 5?
I will happily beat all 3 of you up. I would love to do like a weekly like tournament. Like I'd love to do, and you guys were sort of hitting that a little bit, right? In the Discord, where I think we should just do a my Xbox and me bracket of like a league table, and like it's all different games. So new FIFA drops. There's a 10-hour FIFA trial. We all know that's my game, right? So I would love to play it. So each of us have to play each other at FIFA, and a win gets you 3, like a football league. A win gets you 3 points, a draw gets you 1 point, and a loss, obviously, you get no points. And we, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, and it can be, again, mine and Krish's stream was literally, hello, how are we all? Get into the gameplay, goodbye. Like, don't get me wrong, if I had time, I would have sat there and played more, but we set up like league matches. It's like Matt versus Kresh has to be streamed. Make it happen. Figure out a time to do the hour stream. Go have fun. And I feel like that would be so much fun. And I know there's some ideas flying about. I do think could be cool, and it gets us all to play games with each other a lot more as well.
Yeah,
we could do some magical stuff with like, even we could do like an extra where, let's say, a tennis game come out and there's doubles. And it's like, okay, we win, so that gives me and Kresh 3 points, and you guys don't. Stuff like that. I just think it'd be cool to do. But yeah, sort of went off a little bit of tangent there. Sorry, but yeah, I love it. Absolutely love the game. Please.
I got a question for you guys. So I know they've changed it this year. What's the microtransactions in the store like? Have you had a look in there?
You earn credits. I've looked in the store. I haven't bought anything. They've got a bunch of gear on every single character. You have different taunts, different finishes, and then different pieces of clothing. I believe it's gone.
You have one individual piece of clothing that you can change, and then there's another one that's just your overall skin with the different shaders for them as well. You have the seasonal store that refreshes how often that you buy with seasonal currency, which you get from I think that's from the invasion mode only, but I could be mistaken about that. You have the gold currency that I forget what they called. but that you essentially go. There's a shrine that you can go to. It's in the menu somewhere. I forget what it's called exactly. And you essentially, it's basically a gacha system. You don't actually put
Yeah.
money, but it's gold you earn in the game, and you
It's
just
it's
roll
R
for
it's
cosmetics.
RNG, right? Like you throw the gold in the
Yeah.
pot, it pops you out a piece of gear.
And then there is the red egg currency that I do not know what is called. That is actual cash currency, and that again is tied to a refreshing shop to get people with FOMO to buy stuff. But I don't think the cosmetics are egregious, especially because the seasonal content, the different invasion boards that are going to be coming out, all that's completely free. You don't have to buy it, so you'll be getting skins and stuff like that through that as well. So I don't think it's really that bad
You
right
earn
now.
you earn a bunch of gear as you go through the story mode. Like at the end
Yeah.
of each of the fights, like the characters you go up against, usually you earn their gear once you beat the story mode. So you do have. I've got a couple of different variations of colors schemes that I can put on some of my characters. A few different face pieces as well. So yeah, I've customized a couple of the characters already. And it hasn't cost me a penny. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it like you can earn pretty much like most of the basic gear in game just by playing it, but
Yeah.
the store basically lets you fast track if you wanna?
I think the store doesn't
Or is
have
it
the
store
stuff you
exclusive
can
stuff?
earn. I think
Okay.
the store is exclusive stuff.
Right. Okay.
Because I think the seasonal content, like they're not there permanently. They'll be
Mhm.
there for the season, and they did mention in one of the combat casts, if I'm not mistaken, that they are like seasons will come back. So if you don't get a piece of
Okay.
gear that season, you will be able to get it in the future. I will say about the customization, it does seem a little bit lacking from some of their past games. Because especially like if you're looking at Injustice 2 specifically, and then even into the other Mortal Kombat games, customization was really heavy in them, and it feels to be a little bit lacking. I still think it's better than most games out there as far as customization goes, but it is somewhat less than it has been in the past.
Okay.
What else is there to talk about? Do you guys have any other questions?
Who's got the coolest fatality?
Okay, quick one. I haven't touched fatalities yet because of the story mode. So during the whole story mode, I haven't had no fatalities yet. Because the way the story kind of goes is like you end a fight and then it transitions so seamlessly, by the way, into the story again. Like I had one of the cutscenes where like as the fight ended, the character looked in a certain direction and then the camera panned as if they were looking at the character, and I was like, wow, like the way they transition from fight to cutscene in this game, I find it super impressive. Again, coming from a guy that hasn't played any of the Injustice games, probably any NetherRealm game actually ever, to be honest with you.
I remember 11 being similar to that, but I don't know how well they pulled it because I only played a little bit of the campaign for that.
This one's definitely better than 11 because for me 11 had some moments where like you would transition to different scenes and it didn't feel super smooth. I felt like from everything I've played in the game so far, it is a lot better than 11.
It's never one of those moments where like I'm fighting this hypothetical place. I'm fighting in kitchen. Okay, just finished fighting kitchen. Hard cut to I'm now in a spaceship. It's so. I'm fighting in kitchen. There's pan to someone standing on a kitchen top now. Carry on this story, and then we move on. It feels. The fights don't feel like they're put into the story. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it feels like it's part of it.
It feels so seamless. It feels so seamless. Every scene I've been in, I'm like, okay, I understand how we've got from A to B to C to D throughout this entire chapter. It makes perfect sense, which is nice because again, it'd be very easy to hear a shoehorn story. Okay, now let's figure out how we get these fights, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's like, okay, we've designed this game again. I'd love to do an interview and talk about it with somebody, but like we've designed these fights. Now we're gonna fit our story around that and make it work seamlessly through. So, I'm again. I don't know if you can tell, but I am so impressed by it. All jokes aside, obviously I've got the Mortal Kombat hat on. I've got this at the event and stuff. I'm not paid to say any of this. There's nothing like that. It's just I really am a big fan of Mortal Kombat 1. I'm really, really impressed by its story.
Exciting stuff.
Boys, what about something else you guys have been... So, who's been playing Lies of P? Just Matt. Okay, Matt.
Oh, is it just me?
Yeah,
just you.
Oh,
Matt.
Nelly.
Lies of P, you have been playing it.
I have indeed. And if you listen to the podcast, you know I was super excited for this game, right? And I've been on about it since I played it like last year at Gamescom. And chatted to the devs a few times, got to play it again at this Gamescom. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. Really, really impressed with it. I've had it for probably 2 weeks. Haven't finished it yet. I think I'm pretty close. But yeah, it's doing some really, really, really interesting stuff. It is a Souls game through and through. Like, if you like Bloodborne and you like Sekiro, you're all in on this. Like, it's the kind of parrying system and, you know, prosthetic arm system from Sekiro meets maybe some of the pace and, like, I would say unique creature design of Bloodborne. All wrapped up in a twisted Pinocchio fairy tale, right? Like, it's exactly what it pitched itself as. I think, like, if I was properly reviewing this game and have to put a score on it for a website, I would potentially struggle with the concept more of wearing your inspiration on your sleeve versus just ripping off every other game that's already done this stuff. Like, mechanically, there's not a whole lot of unique stuff here. It is like a greatest hits of From Software, which is great for somebody who's picking up on Game Pass and trying it out and trying out the genre for the first time or whatever. But yeah, it's almost like, I wish there was like some more unique mechanical elements to this potentially. But everything it does really well. Technically, it's flawless. Like, I haven't had any crashing or weird bugs or anything really. It's stunning. It's bloody brilliant. And the story's really intriguing and interesting, and it actually explains stuff to you, unlike a lot of From Software games. So,
I was gonna ask about the story because a lot of people are saying that the highlight of the game is actually the story of the game.
yeah, I think so. Like, the whole concept of you playing as Pinocchio and being able to lie or not, and what effect that is having on the world. I haven't seen so far. So I've played probably 25 hours, maybe something like that, 25 to 30 hours. I haven't seen any mechanical differences based on lying or not. In my playthrough, I've decided I'm just going to lie at every opportunity I get, to see what happens. There's a lot of stuff story-wise, and the way it's affecting the world and the way it's affecting the characters, but I haven't felt any of it in like the moment-to-moment gameplay. So there's like interesting consequences to other people, but not me. Like, I don't feel like if I played my playthrough now telling the truth the whole time, I'm sure I'd have slightly different conversations with people. I'm sure some things in the world would be slightly different, but I don't think my playthrough would be affected all that much. When I spoke to the devs, they harped a lot on the on that system and it changing the ending of the game significantly. They hinted to it changing New Game Plus in significant ways, and I've kind of seen hints of that going like, I see, this is going to be different in New Game Plus. Like, I can see the threads starting to sort of come together in that sense. But yeah, like, I think the story's brilliant. Like I say, like, the characters tell you so much more about this world than a typical From Software game, where they're like cryptic. Yeah. Whereas the characters in this are like, do you want to know about something? Just ask me and I'll just tell you about the thing. There's still quite a lot of like mystery and cryptic stuff. And like, the story is like, the world, I would say, is like so similar to Bloodborne in the like, there's a disease and maybe you're the cause of that disease. There's a bunch of scientists who are trying to cure the disease, and there's a bunch of people who believe in God who are trying to pray the disease away. Both didn't go very well. Like it's so Bloodborne. Like, all of this stuff is from Bloodborne.
Played Bloodborne, and I actually played like, you have to check PlayStation 4. I bought a PS4 and played that. I did not know that's what Bloodborne was about, because I didn't make it that far. So you just blown my
Bloodborne
mind.
isn't very direct about telling you any of that. Like,
Exactly.
you have to be looking for the answers to find out
Exactly.
about Bloodborne.
Whereas this is much more like, cool, you did the thing in the church. That didn't go very well, did it? There's a bunch of scientists over here. Go see what they're up to. Probably baddies too. But like, you know.
You're selling this game to me though.
It's dope.
If,
Dude, like,
if I'm being honest, because that's always, you guys know, I'm not the smartest guy in the in the world, and subtleness is not for me. I do not like subtleness. I need things to be very on the nose.
I think, what I would say is, like, at the start, I think it can feel a lot more cryptic. Like, at the start, it feels a lot more mysterious. Where I am now, there's a lot less of that. There are definitely still elements of, like, this continuing thing that has to do with lying is happening. I'm like, why does nobody think this is really fucking weird and nobody wants to talk to me about it? Because this is really fucking weird and people should be talking to me about it. You know, it's like one of those like classic mystery things of like, well, yeah, why is nobody freaked out about this? So yeah, really cool elements like that. Like I say, so much of it has that Bloodborne From Software DNA. Like you have your hub world, you can invite people back to your hub world if you want, but you should be careful about who you invite back. Literally all these conversations, like so similar to Bloodborne. But yeah, look, if you love those games, you're gonna love this. My only sort of negative points on it, I guess, would be like I said, wearing your inspiration on your sleeve versus ripping stuff off. Like do something a little bit original, maybe. But what was I gonna say? Oh my god, it's gone. Never mind.
I heard the parry system is very hard. Very
parry
hard.
system's hard. Sorry, that is what I was gonna say. The kind of balance in difficulty, I think, is pretty inconsistent. So like there's a boss probably halfway in that is ridiculously difficult, and then I beat, and then the next 3 or 4 bosses I'm just walking through in one try. I'm like, well, this doesn't feel balanced in a way that feels like I'm getting better and leveling up. It's
I'm new to these series. Obviously, I know nothing. Does that not kind of mean it's not like FromSoft then? Because aren't all of their games very consistent in difficulty?
Souls games have easy bosses in the middle of hard bosses
100%.
well.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's
sure
out of the experience you have in a Souls game.
It just doesn't feel balanced and considered in the same way. I think like people talk about Elden Ring and From Software games as like they're fair. Like if you die, it's your fault. I don't necessarily feel like that's true 100% of the time, especially in something like Elden Ring when the world is so big and there's so much to do. Like sometimes this fucking thing's bullshit and I got trapped in a corner and like what the fuck am I gonna do? Like I'm just done. There's more of that here in Lies of P, I think. Like
sounds like a skill issue, if I'm being honest.
It
definitely you.
There's also like a predictability in like a or I guess it's like learning a different pattern, right? Because in Lies of P, everything the vast majority of stuff you're fighting are like weird animatronic puppet things. It kind of feels like you're fighting a bunch of people that you see in a From Software game, but they're drunk and inconsistent. Like they're gonna wind up for an attack, and that attack might come at you really quickly. It might come at you really slowly. They might wind up for 4 or 5 seconds. Like it feels like it's really difficult to learn those patterns because they are such alien, weird monsters that don't move in the way you'd expect them to a lot of the time.
I was going to say the thing that I've seen the most, like one of the complaints is, the combat against enemies that the wind up feels like it takes forever in some instances, and then other ones it's just like fast paced, and there's you say, seems like there's not a chance to balance very well.
And it's about learning, and like I would say, like parrying is really important. Getting your timing right on your parries are really important in the same way it was in Sekiro. It's like that's really core to the game, and learning enemies' weaknesses, resistances, how to buff your defense against a certain damage type, how to attack an enemy with a certain damage type because they're going to be weak to it. Learning that stuff is really important to this game. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to put on the biggest greatsword I've got and tank hits and walk around and kill everything. That's not how the game wants you to play and kind of forces you to not play that way.
How is the weapon system like? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. My question
I was gonna
is
say
about combat, so you keep it on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's the weapon system like? Because I know there's like 2 parts to every weapon, like your hilt and your blade.
Yeah, exactly. So that is an element that I feel like is like dive into this if you want, but you don't necessarily need to worry about this loads. Like you could just find the weapon that you like from the start of the game, level it up as you go, and you'll probably be okay as long as you like set fire to it occasionally with a certain item or electric or whatever, right? You'd be fine. But yes, basically the way it works is every weapon you can split into 2, so the handle and the blade. The blade dictates the kind of like damage types, so like slashing or electric or fire or whatever. The handle dictates the move set, so how your combos work, as well as like a special ability that you get with the handle and maybe something else. Oh, the way it scales with the way you're leveling up. So if you're going to pile all of your skills into strength, then you could take a handle off a greatsword, put it onto a little tiny dagger, and now that little tiny dagger will scale with strength as well. Again, it's quite like it's more deep than I expected it to be, the customization. I use it a lot. I don't think everybody would have to, and I think the vast majority of players who play probably won't bother with it. But if you're really into that sort of thing, it's great. And there are lots of weapons. Like I got dropped into like a really late game save at Gamescom. He must have had like 40 weapons all ranked up to level 8, so I'm sure there was some console command stuff going on. But yeah, just to know that there's that variety in there is really cool, right? And there's no like nothing's penalized by carrying them in your backpack. If you equip 2 really heavy weapons, then you might get penalized for your weight and stuff like that. But yeah, it really does encourage that experimentation, which is really cool.
Sounds like there's a great game coming to Game Pass. Go on, Crash.
Absolutely.
So one thing a lot of Souls-like games don't get right is the world and the level design specifically. Because if you're looking at like Code Vein or a bunch of other Souls games, even Neo, which I think are some of the better Souls games, it's the level design that sort of lacks compared to your FromSoft games. How does this game's level design live up to those?
I think it's really, really good.
Okay.
Like it's probably like quite formulaic in a similar way to like a Bloodborne, right? Where it is like a linear thing that it's driving you through. You'll typically like go into an area. You're probably going to end up unlocking 2 shortcuts back to your original bonfire, Stargazer, whatever it is you're going to call it. And there'll be a mini boss in there. That mini boss is probably designed to teach you something about the main boss that you're going to hit. That final shortcut will lead you back. So now you have an easy-ish boss run to the final boss. That's that area. Move on to the next one. So like, if you compare that to something like Elden Ring, that sounds quite like stale, old-fashioned. But the way it works, I think, is really, really interesting. And like, you do get those like aha moments of unlocking a shortcut and going, fuck, like I know where I am now. Like I've looped back on myself in a really interesting way. Now I get the like geography of this place a lot more. That's cool. That feels rewarding. So yeah.
Do you ever get that moment where you see something off in the distance and then eventually you get there to find out what that is? Because I do think that is a big part of, especially when you're looking at like something like Dark Souls 3 and even Elden Ring specifically, where you do see like a big baddie in the background or you see something interesting and then eventually you work your way there. Does that ever happen in Liza P?
It does. I don't know if it like foreshadows anything like that necessarily, but it does have moments of traveling on like cable cars and you're traveling like away from the place you just were and you get like a sort of a better visual of like, oh, that's where I just was. Oh, that's cool. Or like you're walking to a new area and like, so this happens straight after the section that you played through in the demo. You go to a factory. You like, as you enter that zone, you are very high up and you get quite a good look at that factory, right? Like that's kind of like one example of it. But there's no like real crazy foreshadowing like that, I wouldn't say.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, people say stuff. People like hint at like cool things, and then you end up going there. But there's no like visual aspect of that.
Yeah, no.
Say. But it does feel like a connected, proper world. Like when you take like the cable cars aren't frequent by any means. But when you do take them and you kind of get a scope and go like, oh yeah, that the geography makes sense, right? When you do see stuff, you go like, oh, it makes sense that that's there and that's there and that's there. It does do kind of an annoying thing, or something I have been getting annoyed with the like classic video game. We're blocking off this alleyway because we don't want you to like weird, cardboard boxes just there, and I can't go through the cardboard boxes. It's like, okay, I get what you're doing. Was there not a better solution for this? Like, even places where it feels like, oh, that should be a shortcut that I should be able to open up. And it's just like, nah, there's just boxes here, and so you can't go through that door, even though you can get behind that door because you just walk around. It's like, okay, So yeah, it has that stuff. But like, it's really impressive. This is the first game from this South Korean team, and it's stunning, and it runs well, and it's got a good, unique thing that it's doing with its story, and it's intriguing. And like you say, such a fucking win for Game Pass. So yes, the 17th today as we're recording.
Yep.
If you buy the super duper edition, similar to Starfield, I think you can get on it today. Otherwise, wait 3 days and get on Game Pass.
I think it's been available since the 15th or 16th.
Really?
Yeah, early access. Yeah.
Oh, fair dues. Fair enough. And like I say, I've had it for a long time. I haven't seen like loads of patches going through. Maybe they've been patching difficulty stuff as we've been going. Everybody I've talked to who's also played it for review and stuff, we've all struggled in the same parts. You know, of like specific bosses going like, this feels like fucking bullshit. Something I would say is like I said, that these areas often have a mini boss in the middle that's supposed to teach you something about the main boss. You can run past those mini bosses a lot of the time. Okay. Don't worry about it. Get on with the game. Enjoy it.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm sold on it. I'll be honest with you. I'm sure I'll play the first 3 hours and then get very annoyed and stop playing. Because that's the way I enjoy those games, pretty much. Go on. You
know what's going to be amazing? If he's going to play for 3 hours and it's going to end up in his top 10 game of the year list.
Not this year, mate. This year, there's too many games that's come out that I enjoyed.
Those first 3 hours are the demo that released in June.
Yeah.
Oh, so the demo is like literally just the beginning.
Start of the game. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The pre-install is installed for me. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Do obviously rush through that demo bit if you're familiar with it and you can get through it. There are things that are in there that aren't in the demo.
Okay.
So
there's still new stuff. So
still take a look around.
Still.
Yeah.
Still take a look around. Yeah.
All right.
And yeah, like all of the side stuff is really interesting as well. Sorry, the world that they built and the characters they built is really intriguing. And if you've got like, it's a difficult thing, right, to like make an accessible Souls game. When you're like, people are probably just going to look at this as like a weird Pinocchio game. Sure, I want to play that. Like the weird Alice in Wonderland games or the And it's like, fuck, man, I wish it was slightly more accessible. There are, as far as I've seen in the settings, and this might get patched in when it releases, who knows, but there's nothing for accessibility, even to the point of like subtitle changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like you said, first game from a new studio.
Yeah.
Like that's that doesn't make it excusable on the accessibility front, of course. Like we would love every game to have as many accessibility options as possible. But if this wasn't a high profile game in Game Pass and this was just select indie dev putting this out on their own, we wouldn't knock that for not being accessible.
Sure.
So I think that's something key to remember. Like I agree with you. Hey, I want an easy mode. Give me an easy mode. I'd love that. Like, yeah. But in the same breath, as we've had these conversations before, that's not what they want. That's not how they've designed this game. That's not their vision. Okay, let's respect that and let's play it. Like, again, I do agree with you. The subtitle thing always gets me as a dyslexic and someone with terrible eyesight. Please give me big subtitles, please. That's just an option I always like. We'll talk about it in a second. But playing Baldur's Gate today, hey, he was like, oh, I can turn the text size up. Yeah. Like, wow, you haven't played games in a while, Gil, have you? We expect that. We expect that.
I was gonna say the one thing I do like about what I've seen of Lies of P so far is we'll call them souls. I don't know what they're called in game, but I do like the soul system seems to be a little bit better. And when you die, it doesn't just leave them where you die. Am I right in saying it sets it back to the previous room to make it a little bit easier to collect?
So it depends, basically. So basically, like, yes, if you die against a boss, it will drop your souls in a safe area. So you don't have to because once you're fighting a boss, you're fighting a boss. Like you can't run away. Yeah. So it puts your souls somewhere that's retrievable. Also, if you continue to keep dying without picking up your souls, you don't just lose them all in one go. Okay. It chips away at them quite heavily, but then you can unlock upgrades and stuff like that that allow that chip away to be less prevalent, I guess. Which is cool. It's a cool mechanic. And there's like a whole skill tree that I didn't even talk about. And loads of other customization stuff that I didn't even talk about.
The reason I say to hold is because we're all going to play it from next week, right? So we're all going to have a lot more questions. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more episodes on this, just like we're going to talk about Starfield in like 10 seconds. So, keep the rest of it to yourself. And the only thing I'll ask you lastly is, should people play this? Should they buy it?
I mean, it's on Game Pass. Like, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't have Game Pass, what are you doing? But also, for the sake of getting a month's worth of Game Pass to try this thing out and see if it's for you, absolutely. I'm really hoping that the interesting, unique, accessible story leads this into being an accessible Souls game for people that then want to go try Bloodborne and then want to go try Elden Ring and have always been really intimidated by those things previously. it's just teaching people that language of game, right? Like how weapon scaling works and leveling up works and da 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 da. Yeah.
Speaking of weapon language in games, let's jump into what's been in our box this week. Despawn, what you been playing?
Shockingly, Starfield, but we won't talk about that because I've also.
No, we will, because I've got so much to say. We're starting there.
Okay, go on.
I'm done.
Okay.
Oh no.
Done.
That's fine.
What got you over?
What did it?
No, there wasn't one thing in particular, to be honest with you. I'm just not. So my game clock's only going to say 7 hours. But I'm pretty sure I've put more time in than that. I don't know why. It feels like more anyway. I'm just not enjoying it. And ultimately, there are just too many games that are out currently that I know I could go back to Hogwarts and have a way better time with that and enjoy. I'm sure I would enjoy that way more. I feel like I'm playing this game waiting for it to become something that this game just isn't. You know?
How deep into the main story have you gotten?
I'm very early, I guess still, because I've only just unlocked what's your companion that you like, Despawn?
And oh my god, I forgot her name
Yeah,
already. We've just started dating as well, and I forgot her name.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Andrea. Yeah.
I've just got to Andrea. I've just rescued
you
her
are
from
super
that
early in the
cave.
story then, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I know I'm early.
Yeah.
I know I'm early. It just feels like I'm not. And again, if you enjoy the game, you are more than welcome to. Please do not come at me. Do not I understand you are enjoying the game. I'm so thankful. I'm happy we have 4 people on this podcast now for Game of the Year list. And I'm happy that I brought Despawn in who loves the game, because otherwise I can understand why people would enjoy this game. But to me, this is a game that was made in a vacuum that hasn't modernized itself for many years to come. And I just don't want to play that anymore. I respect the world. I respect what Bethesda's done. I'm sitting here going, okay, maybe Bethesda games are not for me, or I just need Bethesda games that have a little bit more structure in terms of the spaceship is the biggest part for me that I struggle with. I think that's the biggest part. I keep going to my spaceship and the maps, and I know how to traverse it now, but it still pisses me off every time I have to. Every time I have to gravity jump, it annoys me. Every time I jump in my ship and I'm like, did I need to get in here to get to this mission? No, I didn't. But I forget that. So I've already spent 10 minutes walking back from wherever I was exploring to get back to. It's just like those little things that are, yes, they make sense in terms of now that I know how to do them, but it's still, I'm not remembering it in that moment.
Lots of busy work.
A lot of busy work, and it's just not fun to me. I'm sure there is a great story in there. I'm sure that people that are loving the game are going to love it. But for me, there are just too many other games that I would rather beat than keep playing this at this moment in time. Maybe between now and the end of the year that will change. I don't feel like I'm deep enough to be like, I'm not going to remember the story. No, I've literally just started. I got caught by the police, and I've started a new arc with that. And that's why this game's kind of hard to explain as well, because that's technically not a main mission.
Feels like a main mission.
It feels like a main mission, but it's not a main mission, right? You ask, how deep are you on the main mission?
I will say 100% I'm more interested in that plot line than I am the main story at all. And I don't think that'll change for me.
That I think I'm the same. Again, and I am spoilers that I know how New Game Plus works now. I've not got to it, but I've got to the point in the story where I pretty much know what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil that. But yeah, I am 100% with you guys in the fact that I feel like the side stories are the most exciting part of this game so far. Don't get me wrong, I love what they're doing with the main story, and I think it's unique. But yeah, I finished the Vanguard storyline. I finished the one you're on now, so the SysDef one, and I've just started the freelancers. I can't remember the name now. Basically, Free Rangers. There you go. So I've just started theirs, and yeah, I think they're a more interesting story than the main story is. The main story opens up a lot of new concepts in the game that you can use, but yeah, it's definitely the storyline behind it isn't the most exciting. Saying that,
just
I'm on about 3 days of playtime, so I'm definitely enjoying my time in there.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm 100%. I can agree with your reasoning. Like, if you are,
I can't get lost.
Mhm.
The one thing I loved about Fallout, yeah, Fallout 4 for me, and that was my first Bethesda open world game, right? Was I woke up and I'm playing this game, I'm enjoying it. I wander this way and something happens. I wander that way and something happens. I wander this direction, something happens. I feel like with Starfield, I have to, and again, I know I'm an idiot gamer, right? But it feels like I don't feel like I'm wandering into things. It's very purposeful. I
Yeah.
have to
Yes.
go. I need to go to this planet. Go to planet, and then I don't feel that same
The sense of
urgency
wonder.
to go and
I,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it's like the one downside to the way they did the plans with the procedural generation is a lot
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
times you're going through and it feels like, oh, there's stuff to do on this planet, but it doesn't feel purposeful or like I'm working towards anything other
Yeah.
than just playing the game, which is
Agreed.
great for people who love that.
I totally agree with you, Fix. Like it's like the I have to choose to be in a mood to discover something.
Yes.
As opposed to in Fallout, I need to get over there. I'm
Uh-huh.
probably going to bump into 3 or 4 things on the way.
Yep.
Starfield isn't that. Like,
No.
I'm going to go do the thing, or I'm going to go explore this procedurally generated thing, and
There-
maybe I'll discover something interesting. But it doesn't feel as
Even
intuitive.
It doesn't feel organic. It
Yes.
doesn't, and I think that's my biggest thing in Fallout, and the same thing with Witcher and things like that, right? And Witcher 3 is always the one I go to, which is the frying pan side mission, if you remember that, which is I'm riding along to go to a main mission. There's some granny in a house screaming for help. I stop and she needs help, and then she attacks me with a frying pan, and that sticks out in my mind so much. I've had moments in Starfield again because I've heard a person screaming for help, and I've gone, I don't care. I just don't care. I just don't care. And is that's on me? That's not on the game. That's on me. But I'm just not interested in it. And again, I'm not the space guy. I'm not like this. This world doesn't interest me in the way I wish it would, with the way it does, either you despawn especially. And yeah, man. Sorry, Kresh, you were gonna say something, please.
don't remember what I was gonna say.
Well, I'm sorry.
I will say I'm just short of 20-ish hours in the game now. And it started clicking with me a little bit more. I will say after the 19th hits and Lies of P comes out, I don't think I'm going back to the game probably this year at all, unless I find a time where it's like I'm not playing anything, but this year's pretty packed, so I don't see it really happening. I am looking forward to in a year's time or something like that when they do some more fixes and changes, or there's more mods out that sort of streamline some of the systems in the game and make it more simple, to jump back into it in the future, is similar to like what Cyberpunk's going through and has been going through since its launch, right? Um, I think around hour 10-ish, 11-ish is finally when like everything started clicking for me. I ransacked somebody's ship. I went and docked into it. It was I think bounty hunters or something like that, and they had stolen paintings. And I was like, well, now I can't take these back to the main planet because I'm gonna get scanned. This is contraband. And I was like, how am I gonna figure this out? I went to a random planet to see if they're gonna sell it. They're gonna buy it off me. Nobody wants to buy contraband for whatever reason. And then while I was there, I found some random ship. I stole this random ship, and I just went on this like great like big adventure. And that's sort of like it finally clicked. Like this is what Starfield is. It is just
Yeah.
you going out and making your own adventures, and that's really dope until you hit a story beat or some side quest that you really enjoy or something like that. And that's where I'm like, oh, I could kind of get lost in this. But then every time I have to interact with these systems that take me out of it, like opening the star system in the map and figuring out how am I supposed to go here? What am I supposed to do? Oh, I held tab by accident. I completely got out of the menu, or I
Yep.
just pressed it or something like that. How do I go back where I was? And there's just a lot of small moments that kind of pull me out of the experience. But then again, I get to another patch where I hit that gameplay loop and I'm like, oh, this is kind of satisfying. So I do think there is a great game here that I can understand why people absolutely love it, but I can also understand why people despise this game.
I
To be
don't. Again,
100%
I want to
honest.
make it. I want to be very clear. I do not hate the game, and I
Yeah.
understand what is great about the game. I really do, but every time I go to play it, I'm like, and I installed it in my on my Stream Deck as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because like, okay, I'm not understanding this. I had a long trip to the crew event. I was like, all right, I've got 2-hour journey. I'm gonna play this on the train, and I enjoyed it. I was exploring planets. I was whatever. And I think I think I lost that save data, by the way. Hence why my game time's only at 7 hours. But yeah, I did that for 2 hours, and then something happened. Which again, not the game's fault. That's my fault. I don't think I synced the data from coming back home, and then I lost that 2 hours. But yeah, I was just playing. And I was like, it just isn't clicking. It still isn't clicking. But I hear you say that it clicked, and I'm like, oh, have I given it enough time? Is 7 to 8 hours enough time? No,
It should be, but no,
it's not.
No.
Yeah.
Go on. I was gonna say, like, my suggestion to you would be mainline some of the story and just ignore some of the side stuff for a bit. You shouldn't have to, but I feel like there is certain story beats that are going to happen soon for where you're at, which are going to definitely open your mind to want to get into that world.
Okay.
I think you do another 2-3 story missions of the ones you're on where you got Andre on your party. If I'm thinking about the same stuff that Deacon's thinking about. And that's when I hit those story beats is when like it all started hitting together.
Without spoiling stuff, there'll be a point where you have to go to an altar. I think I want to call it.
Okay.
When you get to that, you'll know what's happening and why you should.
You'll be there anyway. You'll be there anyway. So
yeah.
So I'll have to stream it.
I think Despawn will actually need to be there for you. By the way, I think there'll be a part.
There is fuck. I'm thinking fuck.
No, there is a the moment I'm thinking of where you get to the altar and you have to figure that out. I'm like, huh?
Nothing.
Yeah,
you will need Despawn there. 100%.
Fair enough.
Wow.
We haven't heard your opinions on it, Matt, have we?
Yeah, we talked about it. I talked about it when the last episode I did, so 2 weeks ago, was the first Starfield episode. All 4 of us chatted about it.
Yeah, well, we all bagged on it, except for Despawn. Despawn was fighting a one-man fight.
I mean, yeah.
The comments hated us.
Had early
no, 100%.
I think that's the other thing that people forget. Is like we didn't get the game a week early and get to just sit and mainline it. We're playing it with you in real time while also doing our different jobs that we have to do, while juggling 5 different games as well. It's like, yeah, it's hard. If we didn't have Despawn, I wouldn't even have played the game. I think I would have quit instantly.
Not everyone gets to take time off from their day job to play a game for 20 hours.
This is true. And I think, like, when I'm done now with Lies of P, the question of do I go back to Starfield or Baldur's Gate is an uphill battle for Starfield.
It's not even a question.
No,
you play Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Easy.
But that's the funny thing you say that. Yeah, I had people said that to me. It's like, if you're not enjoying this, I mean, Cyberpunk's new expansion just came out. Why don't you just play through the old? Why don't you just play through Cyberpunk? It's all upgraded. The play through that and then do the expansion. I'm like, I don't know what to play at this point. Like, I'm like stuck. But you mentioned Baldur's Gate, so let's transition to that. We played that for the first time today. Me, Haley, and Kresh started our campaign. We still want to start on my Xbox and Me campaign, which I think we're just going to end up doing. I don't know how it works with joining a character, so we'll have to figure that out. We ended up only being able to play for about 2 hours, I guess, Kresh.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe we've literally just got out of the tutorial and that opening area, and we set up our first camp. And I'll be honest with you, it might have been the funnest 2 hours I've had this year. If I'm being honest, like, that game is so magical and so fun, and even with having to teach Haley how to play it on the controller while me and Kresh play on mouse and keyboard, so we don't understand why she's stuck. And we ended up, again, this is not a spoiler because this is how we played the goddamn game, right? Like, this is so early on. We ended up coming across a character, not liking how the character spoke to us. Kresh decided, fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill him. Kills him. I run up to him, loot him, take all of his clothes. I run off because I'm like, oh, fuck this guy, I'm gonna go explore. No, Kresh starts the fight. Haley kills the guy by icing him. I run off. Kresh then says to me, oh, wait a minute, I can revive him. Brings him back to life. Haley then speaks to him and says, hey, do you want to join our camp? And now he's in our camp naked.
Question.
Yeah.
Was that Asterion?
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like the dude.
Nah, he gets better. But yeah, he's a cocky little shit.
I don't think he gets better.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to spoil anything he does. I don't
him.
think he gets better.
Okay. But what we could do potentially, and again, I'm not I don't know how the co-op works, so if this doesn't work like this, let me know. Is like make our characters start the game together, and then if you wanted to just play it with Haley jumping in or with Kresh jumping in every now and again, me jumping in, because the way you build out your camp is that everybody chills at camp, and then you take the people out that you want to take out at that
Yeah.
time. So if I was then free one night to jump in, cool. It's just me and you jumping in with 2 of our campmates. If all 4 of us are free, cool. It's all 4 of
Yeah.
us. And if none of us are, it's just you and 3 AI from the camp.
I forget if
There is
the
also a
ability
mod
to
for more people.
remove. Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. There's a mod as well.
Yeah.
But I forget there.
Wait, we can play 5-player?
You can play. I think the mod, if you all install the mod, I think it lets you up to 16.
Holy shit.
Don't quote me on that, but I think
Ghost
so.
turns sound like they'd be like atrocious.
Agony. No,
Either that
everything
or it'd
would
be the
die in the first turn.
Yeah, I
so-
could say the first turn, everything is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because you guys have spoken about the game already, I knew I was gonna love this game. I knew I was gonna enjoy this game. I'm a light D&D fan. Again, I've not played that much, but my uncle was a huge nerd. Me, Haley, and my cousin played a campaign with him DMing, and playing this game was exactly what I expected it to be, which was I'm going to play this character how I want to. And the fact that it allows me to, and I said to Kresh while we were playing, I was like, have you planned it? Did you play? We playing this very different from how you were playing with your friends? Like, yeah, totally different. And I'm like, good. Because this is how I want to play, which is,
Well-
let's all run in separate directions and explore. And I'm going to go and pick up this and that, and this is going to happen. Then you're going to scream, oh my God, this has happened. And I'm going to sprint halfway across the map to find out and listen to your conversation.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's the fun of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've started a solo playthrough. I've done the co-op playthrough, and now I've played with you as well. Each one I've played like differently as well. Obviously, there's some points where like certain choices overlap,
Yeah.
but I think the variety in what you can do and how you can approach situations is actually like really dope in the game.
It's insane.
Yeah. The question is, for the playthrough that you guys are doing at the moment, what characters have you gone with? What classes?
I'm a dragon barbarian.
Oh, so you're me, basically. That's my play. That's what I'm playing on my solo run through at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
Dragonborn barbarian called Lurk, which
Yeah,
is the
I'm-
same character I'm playing in my D&D campaign at the moment.
I'm Lucifer the Third. Lucifer
Nice.
1 and 2 died in the
Your
Great
name
Dragon
wasn't
War.
Lucifer,
It happens.
Lorenzo.
Was it not? Lorenzo, sorry.
Lorenzo
Thank you.
the Third, okay.
Lorenzo the Third.
Lorenzo
Yeah,
the Third. Come
he's
on.
Lorenzo 1 and 2 both
Disrespecting his
died.
ancestors.
Both died in the Great Dragon Battle of 2099.
Happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am playing a half elf ranger.
Nice.
And Haley is playing a
Elf
elf sorcerer. Yeah. I've got to say, looking at that game, playing mouse and keyboard over controller, oh my God, the game looks totally different.
Mhm.
Like the way it operates is totally different. Because obviously I've got Haley sat next to me while I'm playing on PC, and I'm trying to help her, and I'm like, "Where's your HUD?" And she's like, "I don't have a HUD." And I'm like, where's this? I don't know. Where's this?" I'm like, but the game has a journal system, which is fucking amazing, where it records literally every line of dialogue that happens, and where it takes place in which region and things. And I'm like, bro, this game is immense.
Talking about the controller situation for a second, I actually do think that it's very impressive the fact of how different it is. It just shows the fact they didn't try and make a plug and play system where like,
Yeah.
this is the UI. We're gonna make map buttons so that the UI fits this the system. They were like, we'll make something completely different that functions differently on a controller. And I do think that there's kudos deserved for
100%.
going that far out with it.
100%.
Yeah, all the PS5 reviews are glowing, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, nobody's going, oh, the huge downside here is playing on controller. Like, they've just
Oh, no.
figured out a whole different system.
It can definitely be played on controller, and it's very feasible. Haley has said that she wants to move over to mouse and keyboard just because she's seen ours and gone, well, that's way more understandable than what I'm going through right now. But
yeah.
it can be
It's-
played. It definitely can be played like that.
Yeah.
It's also easier for us to like help her when she needs to
100%.
learn how to do something. Where it's with
Yeah.
controller, I just look at it and I'm like, I don't even know how to describe what you should do because I don't know how it works.
Honestly, I just want to end the podcast now and go play more. If I'm being totally
that.
honest with you,
I get
like,
Well, we
Haley
can't.
had a goblin. She picked up a goblin body in her
Oh, yeah.
inventory. She had no clue how to get rid of
Right.
it. because she didn't know how to open up her inventory.
Question for everyone. Have you all got to the squirrel yet?
No.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
He-
yeah,
f-
yeah.
yeah,
You're
fixed
you're
that
not far off.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not that far. It's not that far in,
I mean, you
but
might miss
there's
it.
don't miss it. I'm
But
I'll
that's
make
kind,
sure.
but that's
I
kind
don't.
of what I love about it, though.
I don't think anybody in our party has speak with animals.
okay.
Mm.
I didn't at the time either. That's all I'll say.
Okay, so it's still okay.
The spoiler, that squirrel now lives in my pocket.
Ah, nice.
Okay,
That's
I didn't
all
even
I'm
know that was a
saying.
possible outcome. There you
I
go.
mean,
Fresh
I'm-
gave me a hat that I
I'm-
wore for a
Okay.
while.
I can say I'm using the word
Yeah.
live liberally.
Oh,
What I would say
Oh.
is get speak with animals
Yeah.
and get speak with dead like when you can, because
There's
it just
a-
opens up a lot more like fun, interesting stuff to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
there
the
is an
conversations with
amulet
animals are great.
for speak for dead that you get pretty early on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Honestly, I am. Yeah, there's a part of me that wants to play through a solo campaign just so I can play it without everyone. But there's a part of me that's like, no, I kind of like this experience of not knowing and then just going off because I'm just doing so
it's-
much dumb stuff. Jesus Christ, words. Kresh made Haley blow something up, and now she doesn't trust him. And she's treating it like a character, where Kresh is like, go over here. And Haley's like, nope,
Nope,
not going
no,
over there. Nope,
no.
don't trust you.
I-
Don't trust you no more.
Look, people gotta experiment and learn how things work. If you wanna hit a glowing purple vial of something, like, what are the outcomes gonna be?
So yeah, no, but Baldur's Gate, absolutely loving it. Can't wait for it to come to Xbox and everyone be able to play it.
Yeah.
So you'll all get to enjoy that. Last thing that I've been playing, I played the Crew Motorfest, which also dropped last week or this last week. Yeah, obviously played it for Ubisoft. So hashtag sponsored. Doing some stuff with UB, obviously, because I work for them. And yeah, I really like it. It's I had a really good time playing it. They've got this new mode, which is DR, which is Destruction Royale. They have a battle royale in the game, but it's so simple, but just so fun. Like literally, half of our stream was just us playing that. So the four of us could all jump in. We hot drop onto like weapons and armor and things like that, and then it becomes a destruction derby pretty much across this huge map that is always shrinking. And honestly, it is just some of the most fun I've had in a while. They've also got I think it's called like a grand race, which is
grand race.
you pick 3 different vehicles, and then like as you're driving through. And Ubisoft have kind of used this formula a lot now. They use it with Riders Republic as well, where they do these big giant races and the vehicle is ever changing, and that's the same thing here. They just got some really cool modes. The way that the system's set up is each vehicle has its own playlist. So you've got Made in Japan, they've got the bike stuff, they've got the old school cars. It feels really, really good. It's a very, very enjoyable arcade racing game. And it's not an arcade racing game. There's a lot more to it than just your basic arcade racing game, but it's accessible enough to me and it's fun enough. Is it Forza Horizon? No, it's not. But is it still a great racing title? Yeah, it's actually really good and worth playing. So I'm gonna put some more time into it and try and enjoy it as well. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I'm not a massive like racing fan, but like everything I've seen makes me want to jump into that game. Like,
It's fun. It's just for DR. Like I'm being honest with you, the DR mode alone, I could sit there and play that for hours.
It does seem like the kind of game where like it's one of those that you can just drop in, drop out. It's like you want to go like grind for a couple of cars.
Yeah,
you go do that. Oh yeah, you want to spend like a few hours in the DR mode. It definitely feels like something that's not going to be a massive time sink.
No.
In so much like you could like literally like I've got half an hour tonight. I'm just going to jump into a quick race, get a couple of cars, and then move on. And then keep coming in and out. Do you know much about like seasonal stuff? Is there like new things coming, anything like that?
I don't get told nothing, mate. So I
just meant
nothing.
If it was like in the game.
Even
or
what they've
anything.
announced, I know nothing. I don't.
Okay.
I was like, let me play. Let me just see what this is about. We had Sidwig with us, who's like a professional in the crew. This is what he does. He makes the crew content. So he was literally, I was like his little brother. I felt like I was just holding on to him the whole time. Like, All right, take me around and let's see. The world's beautiful. If you've ever played a crew game, you know that. And yeah, it just plays really, really well. I'd love to do a stream with you guys where we play the DR modes because it was. I think it's fun enough that we could get some good content out of it. 100%.
Am I right in thinking there's
100%.
like a free trial at the moment?
At the moment, there is. Yeah, I saw that
okay.
they put out. They put which tells me that the game didn't sell very well or pre-order very well. If I'm being honest.
Which is
I
a
will
shame.
say I wouldn't be too surprised if that was the case, but also Ubisoft has over the years leaned very much so into free trials and stuff like that. So I could also see
Yeah,
them being like, "This
But
is
on
just the
brand
way you
new
get."
games.
Yeah.
I don't know the last game again. I know nothing because this is not like I have any inside scoop. I don't know the last game they did a brand new title and gone free trial now.
You're not wrong. I'm just
Good
saying maybe
question.
they're trying something new with it.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
well, UB Plus is obviously getting bigger as well. I know that's
Yeah.
something they've been pushing big.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely worth if you're looking for a new racing game and a racing game. I feel like a lot of people either want to play a racing game or a sports game along
Yeah.
with their other games. I think the Crew Motorfest is worth checking out and playing. There's enough there. There's enough meat on that bone that's worth playing. It's better than the Need for Speed game that I played last year.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Whoa,
Way
whoa,
be-
whoa, whoa! Disrespect. I like that game.
I mean, it's a fine
This
game.
is better. This
Was
is
it-
better in my
Is that
opinion.
where Need
If
for
I
Speed
play
was it
this game
Unbound?
and it's not
Unbound.
better,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will fly over to London and beat you up, Fix. I actually wouldn't do that.
Wow.
Your mom would beat.
I feel
you
like
up, so.
the Crew's a great. The thing with yeah, my mom would definitely beat you up. But the Crew for me is because I remember playing the Crew one with Haley and her brother, and like literally it was like one person took the game very serious, the race very serious, whoever was in plus, and the others were just trying to take each other out. And that's kind of what I liked about it. It's just dumb fun with a bunch of friends. And obviously whoever takes it serious is down to them. It's never usually me. It's never usually me. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Kresh, what else have you been playing?
I think we covered it. Mortal
Yep.
Kombat, Starfield, Baldur's Gate, nothing else really. Not but those 3 games, not a whole lot of time.
Matt, anything else you've been playing?
Nope. Nada.
Oh. Despawn,
Hi.
you have been at WASD.
Yeah, was the WASD? I don't know how they pronounce
I don't
it.
know either.
It doesn't
No.
matter. The games were great. That's what
What
matters.
did you play? Give me your top 2 highlights.
My top 2. All right. So, there was one game I was looking forward to the most, all like ever since it got announced, which is a game called Novalis. So it is by indie. So it's been published by 505 Games.
Okay.
Big shout out to them. And they it's basically, I don't know if you've ever heard of an indie game called Cloudpunk. It's basically a cyberpunk-esque game where you play as a futuristic delivery driver, but it's very much like that kind of noir, like Blade Runner-esque story. The world is
Okay.
beautiful. It's all voxel-based graphics. This is kind of like another game based in that world, but it's a entirely different genre. So it's basically you running a noodle bar in a dystopian city, like Blade Runner-esque.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's basically you managing like the menu system, going out and like getting orders and deliveries and stuff like that. There's fishing, so you know it's going to be a 10 out of 10 game. But I'm just excited to go back into that world because the story that they built in the previous game was fantastic. The build that I played was an alpha build, so it was a bit choppy, but I expected that with it being an alpha build. I think they just wanted to rush this out to have something on the show floor. But yeah, I was very excited for that. You say 2, but I want to give you like a couple because there's more. But I'll
We
be
ain't
quick.
got a lot of time. I've
I
still
know.
got to get through news.
All right. Ghost Runner 2, again, 505. If you played the first Ghost Runner, you know what you're going to get. This game looks beautiful. The combat in it is fantastic. It's basically a first-person endless runner where you've got to just try and survive until you get to the end of the level. Amazing. Go.
There's a demo for that on
There is a demo.
PS5. I don't know if
Yes.
it's on anything else.
think it
I
might
do
be
know
on
it's on PS5.
PC as well.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I
Yeah.
just know for a fact that it's on PS5. That's the only
Yep.
thing I've seen it.
So that was the same demo that I played on the show floor. Fantastic demo. I think last check I did a 25-minute run with about 40 deaths. Somebody managed sub 10 deaths in 8 minutes, and I don't know how. I think that person hacked. Let's just put it that way. And then, yeah, 2 more games that I want to talk about. Make Way. I think we all should play that game when it comes out. It is basically Micro Machines mixed with Ultimate Chicken Horse. So
Oh,
you
okay.
basically build the track. You basically every time it starts, you start off like a really small race, and you pick a piece of track to add to the race. And so every round of that race, you basically pick an extra track, and
I like
it's
it.
the first to 3,000 points wins.
Okay.
And it is super fun. So if you like things like, if you remember like the classic Micro Machines where it's like top down view,
Yeah.
you get weapons to like take each other out. It's super easy to fly off the track if you're not careful. It looks like a ton of fun. Me and another creator that I know, a guy called Pragmatic, we played it on the show floor together with the team there. An absolutely amazing time. And then the final one I want to talk about, which I think a couple of you might be interested in, was Tekken 8.
How was it?
So good. Honestly, like I'm a lapsed fan of Tekken. I think the last one I properly played was probably Tekken 3, maybe Tekken
What
4.
about
So it's
tag
been a while.
tournament?
Yeah, actually, no, that's a lie. I did put some time in a tag tournament as well. But yeah, Tekken 8 feels like the best version of Tekken I've seen in a long time. The characters play great. My boy Harang is back. Kiki Boy is there, and yeah, just the combat feels so beefy and like so meaty. It looks beautiful. They with every like Waz did it last year, I think with Street Fighter. This year with Tekken, they had like a tournament going on, and seeing high level players going at it. Oh man, it's such a beautiful game to watch just happen. I wanted like so I
Different
think
breed, mate.
different breed. I want us to get into that as well. Like you've got Mortal Kombat at the moment, so this comes out I think January next year. I want us to do a tournament style thing in that as well. But yeah, I'm in on that one. There's so many other games that I want to talk about. When
Maybe
it comes
next
to
week.
when it comes to
Slow
plug,
news week,
plug,
maybe.
there's gonna be one of those sometime soon.
Yeah, trust me.
But yeah,
Let's
great
quickly get
weekend.
into. Yeah, I'm glad you had fun, man. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. You had fun. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, don't know why I didn't go. I'm kind of glad I didn't go because I'm tired already. But yeah,
Just
I
be
shouldn't
talking
go.
about it is exciting.
Are you got an EGX?
No, I'm missing on GDX. This was my last event this year, I think. Unless I don't know, EGX, you want to invite me, and
Right.
maybe I'll.
I
change my
got denied, bro. I got denied.
and then accepted.
Didn't they? Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
didn't they accept you afterwards?
Like,
Of course, do
our
you know
bad.
who I am? Do you know who I am, Kresh? I'm a big MC fixer, you know. You know.
True.
Don't remember.
Oh.
Let's quickly get through some news this week. There's a couple of pieces that I really want to touch on. First one is Microsoft have announced that they're releasing a credit card, and I would like to. Was that a boo or a woo?
Yeah, that was a boo. That was a boo.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to warn you all from touching it with a barge pole. So Microsoft is releasing an Xbox credit card later this month. I think it comes out the 21st of September in America. There's a couple of people I follow on TikTok who do like finance stuff, and they got a hold of this as well and was like, the APR on this thing is awful.
Mhm.
Like absolutely horrendous. So for those who don't know, you can earn, I think you earn $1 for every point spent on the card.
1 point for every
yeah,
dollar. Yeah.
that's correct, right? And
Yeah,
then I think there's a bunch of point X's. That isn't what I want to do here. I do not want to sell you on this card in any way, shape, or form. From everything that I've been told and everything I tried to keep up with on this is not a good credit card. It is not worth having. Terrible APR, and if you do end up getting yourself in some really bad debt on this card, it could be trouble. So don't get fooled. Again, you're grown adults, most of you listening, I'm sure. Do what you want, but from everything I've seen, this is not something that we should be endorsing as gamers. Our video game companies trying to feed on us in a little way again, which I don't like.
Microsoft's more than a video game company, to be fair.
But isn't
But
this
they're
an
using
Xbox credit
Xbox.
card?
Yeah.
This is the Xbox Mastercard.
Not wrong.
This isn't
Not
the
wrong, you're not wrong.
Microsoft
You're good.
Mastercard.
Correct.
They are
correct.
using the Xbox
Correct.
branding to
Correct.
try and convince people to spend more on this
Yep.
card to get these points, knowing full well
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Well, what happens when they give you a 25% Game Pass discount on the card?
Well, there's a bunch of benefits on there. It's like if you get 5,000 points, you get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, and then new members are getting stuff. There's a bunch. Again, I don't even want to go into details on this thing. I just wanted to make people aware that again, I'm someone that I've got a fucking Xbox fridge. Trust me, I get it. This is one of those Xbox things maybe you don't want to be partaking in.
Mhm.
Don't worry, guys. Next week I'll have my card in, and I'll give you guys a review on the card.
You're reviewing it, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
I respect
Review
it. I
the
respect it.
channel.
And then the month after, when you have to sell your PC because you can't keep up the repayments.
Can't keep up with the repayments. I mean, a credit card's like anything, right? I'm sure it's a great card if you're somebody who understands money management and understands that you need to be paying off your debts before the end of the card payments and stuff like that. I'm sure, but that's not usually what happens with credit cards. They prey on people that miss it and stuff like that.
There are much better cards with lower APIs and stuff like that. I
Yes.
said APIs, but with lower rates and stuff like that you can get that are not this egregious. Just because it has an Xbox logo on it and stuff like that does not mean you should go
on the
for it.
positive side, the cards look nice.
No, moving on.
You wait for that Starfield credit card to come out.
Oh, don't.
You can get yourself a customized card at any time. You do not need to touch this if that's what you're buying it for the look. Please.
Can't
stop.
print a brand logo on it, but yeah.
You can. Just don't get caught.
Well,
PlayStation had their PlayStation State of Play. I skipped it thinking it wasn't going to be good. Ended up being a fucking banger. Bunch of stuff being announced. The one thing that really got shown that matters to us the most, I guess, is Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. This is the DLC. This is not, I shouldn't say this is the DLC. This is the gameplay mode that was in the original game, which was where you saw kind of a lot of the game from Ada's perspective and what she was getting up to throughout the story of Resident Evil 4. It looks amazing. I'll say that. It looks absolutely amazing. It looks fantastic. My biggest problem with this is a paid DLC. I find it's $10 from what I've been told. I just find it a little strange to do a remake of a game that's beloved, and we all kind of expected this content to be there when it came out, for it not to be. And I thought they were, behind on development, and that's why it was going to come as a free add-on, like the Not a Hero DLC did in Resident Evil 7 for Chris Redfield. But no, they've decided to charge for it. And again, I'm very quick to give Capcom their props when they deserve them. I don't think they deserve props for this, and I'm a little bit disappointed that they're charging people.
I'd be interested to see how expansive it is, though, like for a $10 DLC. Because if I remember Separate Ways last time, like for the original, it wasn't that long.
No,
it was pretty short. So like, if they've expanded on it and they've made it like a good, like, I want to say for $10, maybe an hour or two DLC, I'd be interested to see that. But again, we'll have to wait until it launches. But go on, Kresh, you had a question, sorry.
Yeah. So the content in this, you said you get Ada's perspective. Does it interweave while you're playing the rest of the game, or is it just a chunk at the end or something?
No, it's interwoven. It's interwoven in the story. It's one of those ones where the story's told in a certain way, right? Like Resident Evil do. They always have different perspectives on stories, right? And this is just Ada's perspective, what she's getting up to. It takes part, all of the areas you go in are already in Resident Evil 4. It's just when she comes into action, you kind of see all from her perspective. Yeah, I don't know. Are we okay with this? With remakes coming out and removing content that we think is going to be there and then selling it to us? Is that something we're good with?
For a remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It depends how much they do with it.
Yeah.
Because like that's a whole nother model that's being made. If it's a whole nother area,
the model's already made. She's in the game.
She's in the game. The areas where she shows up.
The only model that would be made would be Wesker.
And he's just going to be cutscenes.
And he will only be in cutscenes, not in any gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed, I have to say, as a and again, this is not that I can't afford it. It's just a case of like, if you're selling me a remake of a game, remake the entire game then. Don't remake a portion of the game and expect me to be happy with it and then sell me the other part.
I think
Final Fantasy 7.
No.
No,
Matt,
totally
no.
different.
What are you
Totally
talking
different.
about?
Totally
Same thing.
different.
Same
No,
thing.
it's not.
No, it's not even close, you idiot.
I'm joking.
Yeah, whatever. Kresh, don't beat him up. I can see your face. Don't beat him up. Don't beat him up, Kresh. Kresh, don't beat him up.
And if you do, let's make it straight.
Matt's stray shots at something that isn't even accurate.
Matt didn't even beat Final Fantasy 7. He hasn't got a clue.
You don't know
what I was gonna.
You weren't there, man.
Oh, I think it depends on how it is after it comes out. If it's just a remake of whatever was originally there and they're not adding anything to try and expand it and make it fit more or whatever the case is, then cool. Yeah, I think you deserve to be mad. But if they are putting more work into it, I think even if it's not there and they didn't put it there because they wanted to put more effort into it, I think it's fine.
I'm not mad, disappointed.
I'm furious. I'm not. I'm fine.
Well,
Yeah, my
you're a
dad said
RE
he was
fan.
disappointed in me. He wasn't mad at me.
Do you know you're an RE fan? We did the re-ranking Resident Evil games, which we should
Yeah.
probably update that list. You know, with the others at some point.
Yeah, we should probably finish that.
Yeah,
We never did it
probably.
after Village.
No,
We never
I
did
know.
Village.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, what do you think?
I'm again like I'm middle ground on both of this. Like I think if they expand it into a couple of hours of good content, sure, £10. I'm not too angry. But if it is just like I say, like a 20-30 minute playthrough of a few extra scenes that were in the original game, just with updated graphics and new voice lines, yeah, I'm not gonna be like celebrating it. I'm not angry. Like I say, again, I'm not angry at it. I think, yeah, if they spent enough time to expand it, great. Otherwise, not a nice feeling.
Fair enough. Was there anything else at PlayStation State of Play that really mattered to us? Obviously, I know Avatar got shown. Anything else?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII, whatever they're calling it, is only
Rebirth.
exclusive for 3 months.
Yeah, and then it comes to PC.
Definitely coming to Xbox.
I mean,
Right.
You guys can make another pizza bet. Why don't you two make another pizza bet?
I will make it. You know what? Tokyo Game Show is coming up next week. I will happily give away free pizza.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox with a release date.
Oh, we already knew that. Get out of
Oh,
here.
that's coming.
Get
I know,
out
yeah,
of
I'm not, I
here.
can't. I can't do it. I want it on X. I want 7 on Xbox so much. But
I'll
yeah,
play
it's
for that
not.
game again if it
I
comes.
will-
If it comes.
I'm interested to see. Oh man, that's going to take up so much space on my PlayStation. 2 discs.
Oh yeah,
Two
yeah.
discs.
To this. Borderlands developer Gearbox is reportedly up for sale. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Should Xbox buy them? Yes or no? Despawn, go.
No.
Crash.
Nope.
Matt.
Yeah, why not? Throw them in the bucket.
For
with
what?
others.
What do they get from them?
Borderlands.
All they get is Borderlands.
Yeah.
They get Battleborn. People are gonna be excited.
Bulletstorm?
People love that game. Bulletstorm, was that Gearbox? That was People Can
People
Fly.
Can Fly.
Well,
and
all right
Epic.
then. The question shouldn't be should they buy them or not. It's how much should they pay?
No,
Because if it was
they shouldn't buy them.
500,000,
It should be. It is a question of should they buy them or not. The answer is no. That's the correct answer.
me and Crash are fighting today. I like it.
The Borderlands fan in me says yes, but I hate.
When's
to
the
agree.
last time you were crazy about a Borderlands game?
3?
Tales of the Borderlands.
No, I didn't even beat that.
Oh,
Tiny
shit.
Tina?
No, I didn't beat that either.
Which is shocking considering you're a D&D fan.
It's shocking considering
The
I
DLC
really
was-
enjoyed.
It was so
DLC.
disappointing. The DLC was so good.
The
That was
game's
so-
good. I just don't have anyone to play it with, and it's a much better experience with people.
I have it, I think.
Incorrect.
I mean, I could have played it with Haley. I stopped playing it with her, so I
You
can't
could play it with
I
me.
can't.
You remember? You were like, "Oh, we're gonna play it." Da, 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 da.
You didn't get it?
Yeah, I did.
You're
I
a
bought it
fucking
because
liar.
you said we would play it.
You're a fucking liar.
Fix. Yes, I did get it because you said we would play
Play it with me
and then you
then.
never ended up
Play it
playing
with
it.
me then. Play it
No.
with me then.
Old game is
That's
old.
the Baldur's Gate. No,
Old game is
it's not.
old.
When did this game come out? If it came out within the last year, sure, we can play
No.
it.
Maybe not.
Well, moving on. Do you know what? We're gonna hold Unity. Obviously, there's a lot going on. We're gonna hold it for next week because there's a lot going on. Despawn's got faults. A lot of us have got faults. We'll hold that one for next week. Let's get into guess the game. Kresh, it is your week of guessing the game. Talk to us. What's the rule set? Do you remember it yet? What's going on?
Yeah. So a minute on the clock.
Okay.
Everybody takes turns making a guess, or not asking a yes or no question until the minute's up. Then
Yep.
everybody writes down their guess, revealing their guess at the same time. They
Okay.
get it correct, they get a point. They get it wrong, they get nothing. Did I
Alright,
get the
do
rules
it.
correct?
You're correct.
that.
You're correct. I'm ready.
Okay.
Please. Just help me out here, all right? Just don't ask some dumb questions, all right?
Is it a game?
Oh, God.
No.
No,
All
it's
right,
not.
you guys ready?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
I'm
I've
ready.
just
Asking
I'm
questions
up.
first. What order are we gonna do this?
Despawn me, Matt.
Cool.
Okay. Start.
Is it a shooter?
No.
Is it an action game?
Yes.
Is it third person?
Yes.
Is it first party?
No.
Is the main protagonist a Mao?
Yes.
Is it a franchise with multiple entries?
No.
Is it on Game Pass?
I don't know. I'm gonna say no to that. I don't believe it is.
Is the main thing you're doing is shooting people?
No.
Is it a simulation game?
No.
Does it have multiplayer?
No. Yes. The Wikipedia says yes.
Okay.
So
Are you platforming? Is it a platformer?
no.
Time
That's
up.
it. That's a minute. And I have
You
no
have since
clue.
you still had a question left, Matt. If you want to ask one last question, I'll give you one last yes or no.
Can we recap what we established?
Yeah, sure.
Go for
Let's
it.
do
Third person. It's got
Yep.
multiplayer.
Yep.
Mhm.
Action game.
Uh-huh.
The
Not
main
a
thing is
shooter.
not shooter.
Not sure. Not on Game
Not
Pass.
platformer.
Also, when we say it's multiplayer, the question was, the answer was yes.
Let me.
It has it.
you
It
guys-
has multiplayer,
yeah.
but it's not a multiplayer game, so we shouldn't
Okay.
think of a multiplayer
Yeah,
game. If we're
don't
being
think of
honest.
multiplayer.
Yeah, I got you.
Is it cheating to bring up Xbox releases? Because I've not got a clue.
Bro, you're not gonna be able to go through them quick enough to get there.
I've
You
got
guys didn't
guess.
ask what gen it came out. You guys didn't.
No.
Oh mate, it's
Okay,
a lot
is it-
harder, isn't it? When you're here.
Yeah.
Is it an RPG?
The questions are
No.
done.
Yeah, but
No,
he
I
had
had-
one
I
more.
had-
He had
okay.
one more. He had one more.
Yeah.
You didn't want to
I
ask, is it
answered
on
no.
Xbox One or Series X or anything?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
RPG, that knowing that
RPG
it's
is a
not an
very
RPG,
loose term. I think it technically would fall into the RPG umbrella. I would not describe it as an RPG.
that's fine. That rules out a lot of games, right? It rules out the guess that I had written down. So I'm happy with the choice that I made in asking that question. I'm not happy because I don't have a guess.
I'm gonna laugh if the guess you took out is correct.
Was correct? Yeah, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. Very much an
Okay.
RPG. And if you'd said it wasn't an
No,
RPG,
no.
then I'd be mad at you.
No.
I've got my
I did not say
guess.
it was an RPG.
No, I agree. The guess
Oh,
I had
wait.
was very much
Oh,
an
it was an
RPG.
RPG.
And if you
Got it.
turned
Okay.
around
I
and then
thought.
gone,
Got it. Okay. All right.
cut all this bit out.
No,
Respawn.
there's no cutting. Let's go.
Okay, shit.
Uh,
I need a guess.
Mm,
nah, mine's wrong because it has multiplayer.
I don't think any of you guys are gonna get it.
We're not even close, are we?
I don't think you guys asked enough questions to like.
A
narrow it
minute's
down.
not enough time. All right.
You guys want another minute? I'll give you another minute.
No.
Okay.
I would. Is it something Star Wars related?
Look, your questions
I've-
are over. I don't know.
No,
why
I
you're
know.
asking
Okay,
that.
my answer is Star Wars Fallen Order.
No, that has a sequel.
Yeah, I asked if it
It's
was
only one
had
game in
multiple
the-
entries and it wasn't.
You did. I
Oh
forgot.
shit! Which means it can't be that. Oh, I have no idea. I've not got a guess.
Come
I
on,
hate
Kresh.
this. I hate this game.
It's a
I'm-
lot harder than I thought it would be. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Third
You
It's a lot
guys
person,
harder.
might be mad at yourselves.
Yeah,
probably.
there's basic questions that we just didn't. Like the
Yeah, you
fact
guys didn't
we
ask
didn't lock in.
anything.
We didn't lock in even a generation that it was on. That's
No.
terrible.
Generation helps so much.
Generation and years as well.
Mhm. Maybe we need to start like.
Okay,
You
I
guys
got
need
a
to like,
guess.
organize what
Go
sort
on,
of
Matt.
questions you should be asking.
I'm not confident.
Well,
But if
both
I'm
of you
right-
guys pick your both Matt and Despawn pick your answers, and then
Okay, Despawn, have you still not got anything written down?
you guys know it's not.
I
Star
do
Wars
not
Jedi
have a
Fallen Order.
clue.
He's just out.
I'm
Matt, give
out,
us
yeah.
the guess.
Disney
Shut up.
Dreamlight Valley.
Dreamlight Valley.
No,
Okay.
no. The game was Bully.
Oh,
You guys asked no questions to give the fact that it was Bully. Like when you
No.
said shooter, you technically do shoot like a slingshot in it. That's why I
Mhm.
gave you like the
it's
no.
not a shooter. It's not a
No.
shooter.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
not.
that's fair.
But you do.
And
it
it's-
depends
You've
what
asked
you
to get
qualify
there.
as a shooter. You know.
Yeah. Technically, it's an
We could've- we-
RPG as well because you do get.
Yeah, because you do
upgrades.
level up and and
But I'm
upgrades
okay.
and stuff
I'm
like
okay
that.
with you saying that. I think
Oh
like
no, yeah, you didn't throw us off. We just didn't
Yeah.
ask the right questions.
Tactics for next week. I think
is
we
it
need
bully?
to lock in like a decade.
I'm just gonna edit
I
that
mean,
after.
I think
This one got it.
Yes.
Yeah, decade, and I think
Yeah.
generation.
Generation. You've got to get a generation. You have to. But we
Generation.
might have to go
game
up a
type.
little bit more in time, though. A minute is fast.
It's not good, is it?
We'll do the full circle of Matt
A
and
minute.
Despawn
Yeah.
going a minute, and then see if by the end of that, if we start
We get a
getting it
single
down,
one.
or if we
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
more time.
I'm only halfway through last week's episode. Did you guys win last week? What happened?
No,
No
I don't
winners.
even
No
remember
winners
what
this time on
the
Takeshi's
guess
Castle.
was. Oh, it was Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was I was there for Tony Hawk.
No,
Oh
what?
no, it was
Friday the 13th.
Right about
Friday
it.
the
Yeah.
13th, and then at the end, I didn't adjust. I
Yeah.
didn't cheat my answer because yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Guys, we've gone long this week, so no questions this week. We'll save all the questions for next week. Let's plug, and get ourselves out of here. Despawn, what you got to plug this week, dude?
YouTube.com/Paul Despawn, where I will have all of the other games that I played, WASD, in a video coming up this week. And YouTube.com/@my Xbox and me.
Yeah, bon. Kresh, what you got for me?
On the YouTube, on my Xbox and me's YouTube account, you have a video of that was live streamed of me beating Fix's ass. Of course, you guys should go watch that.
Oh,
We
wait,
have
5-3?
other.
5-3 it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could have just spent the whole time playing Reptile Fix.
But you did.
That's
Was
beside
it
the point.
5-3? Yes or no?
It was a generous 5-3. Yes,
Okay, so you didn't beat my ass. Let's make that very clear. You didn't beat
you're
my
right.
ass.
I bet
I
over
sense
so
a
you could give me a little
rematch.
bit, bro.
You didn't beat my ass.
We have more plans to do more live streams over there. I think the next one we'll probably do might be Payday, I'd imagine, but
Yeah, I would have thought
Next
so.
week.
we
Yep.
will see exactly. Anyway, go check that out if that is something you guys would be into.
Yeah, a lot of the comments was wish I would have saw it live or please do more of this. So that's obviously a positive front. Again, we kind of do these things without no planning, no time, date, nothing. We want to try and get better at setting times and dates
I'm
and
here.
promoting it a bit better. But yeah, no, definitely going to be a lot more Payday content over there. Also, maybe some Baldur's Gate. I'm going to be honest with you, because if we're sitting down to play it, there's no reason not to. So yes, could
Hell yeah.
be cool. Matt, we got to plug.
I'll do a real one this week. Why not? Go over to the Future Game Show YouTube channel if you're interested in Lies of P, but maybe aren't super experienced with Souls games. There's a video over there that's like 8 things you need to know, or 8 things that doesn't explain very well to you. That's cool. I'd put that together. There's also an interview with the developers that we shot at Gamescom. Give you a little bit more insight into the game. If you're interested in it, go check it out.
Did you do the interview?
We did, yeah. Me and James on my team. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought the
okay.
editing
I'll
was
check
really
that.
cool on that video as well.
Yes. Sorry, I should have said that. The editing was fantastic by one Mr. Paul Despawn.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I was going
Wow.
to say, I don't know who edited it, but I imagine they've got a really nice beard and they're cute.
Kresh?
I can confirm.
Yeah, I edited
Crash.
it.
Yeah, Crash
What?
edited it.
That's
Thank you.
crazy.
I didn't even know I
Um,
edited it. That's amazing.
Such a good job,
yeah,
man. Such a good
You
job.
can find me everywhere at MC Fixer, Despawn at Despawn Plays, at Kresh
Nope.
at Kreshnik Play. No, Despawn Games, Kreshnik
Nope.
at Kreshnik Play. Wait, what is it? Paul Despawn?
Yep.
So you're new, bro. I gotta get into your rigmarole. I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning. Kresh at Kreshnik Plays, Matt at Matt P Video. Matt, you got your Twitter back yet?
I do.
Yeah.
I have received Twitter back.
many-
I got
how
it
many
back from the
DMs?
clutches of Elon. How many DMs?
Any DMs?
No.
Wow, this
Come
on,
community has
community.
disappointed
Oh,
me.
you try to get people to DM me? Hold
Wow.
on. Let me check. I haven't,
You
I
guys
haven't been
We
must
on
have
told,
Twitter.
we told people to DM you, if I remember.
Eldoza,
correctly.
what the hell?
We did it both weeks when you weren't here as well. We told
Mhm,
people to
mhm.
DM you. at some
Hold on.
point.
I have 3 DMs.
Oh,
Okay.
No.
No.
Nope. That is
No.
no. That's
Work
spam.
related? No.
No, that's porn, and
that's me. Yeah,
some Bitcoin shit. So there we go.
that's not me.
Cheers,
No.
guys. Thanks for the help. We appreciate you spamming in with that porn bot we asked you to do. Yeah, and find me everywhere at MC Fixer. I'm doing streams kind of a little bit everywhere at the moment. So follow me, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and of course on the My Xbox and Me channels as well. We got a Kick channel. So if you're into Kick streaming, when we do our streams, they wasn't this last one, but they will be simulcast over on YouTube and Kick at the same time. So there you have it. Until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. I hope you guys enjoyed the extra long episode. Good boys.